Hi everybody, welcome to our Facebook Live. We're doing a theme to align with International Stress Awareness Week for the whole of November. International Stress Awareness Week is the 4th to the 9th of November, and we're just going to introduce you to the theme of fears and phobias, and are they the same thing, and are they something that you can overcome?
Sis, I haven't really thought about that when you just said now your fears and phobias are they the same thing? I don't know what's happening to my tongue today, but you understand what I'm trying to say. So what's the difference then between the two if you're asking the question, are they the same thing?
No, they're not the same thing. So somebody could have a fear of spiders, is quite a common one. I'm not particularly fond of them myself, but I haven't got a phobia. I only have a fear. I hate the thought of them crawling on my skin. But if I'm sat here and there was a big spider on the table, I would be fine. Not so happy the other day when I was in my car and there was a big spider hanging off the ceiling. And there was actually a lady that crashed her car as a result of having a spider in the car. So then you're starting to understand the difference between fears and phobias. So when it becomes a phobia is when it actually impacts your daily life. So you're doing something or not doing something to accommodate this terrible, terrible phobia.
Okay.
So for example, if you've got agoraphobia, which is a fear of open spaces, you won't go outside. You're actually changing your behaviour because of that phobia. It's stopping you from going outside. It's perhaps something stopping you from socialising with people, other people. We live in London, so there's a lot of people that perhaps are afraid of going on the underground, and it's a phobia because they will do everything apart from go on the underground. They'll catch the bus, they'll walk, they'll get a cab. But the thought of actually going on the tube will have them displaying stress responses. They'll be anxious, they'll be quivering, they'll be really in a bad way.
I understand. Okay, so now it makes sense because everybody close to me and some of my friends and acquaintances know this as well. So I have a massive phobia of snakes.
Okay.
I, at one stage, couldn't even look at a picture of a snake, even though I know it cannot hurt me. It's a picture, that's all that it is, but it would impact my life completely. And I'll never forget, I was sitting on a tube one morning, rush hour, opened up my Metro, busy reading, turned the page, the whole thing went up and everybody knows. Like, I didn't want to look at that, and it's like, I don't know how to describe what goes through you. But yeah, it's almost like your heart wants to jump out.
Yeah.
And I've been working on it constantly, and unfortunately it's so deep-seated that they've done hypnotherapy on me. And obviously took me deep down. And I've worked with a gentleman that does training in NLP and worked on the specific phobia because I asked for it, and I was the demo within the group itself, and that's how I can now look at the picture of a snake. Not too long, but I can. But at one stage it was difficult for me to say snake as well.
Wow.
But yeah. So, okay, now I understand the difference, because this is not a fear. This is a phobia, and it's completely irrational. I get it.
But it's very debilitating, incredibly debilitating.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's very difficult to cope with. So interesting, your experience then has been that you can move forward from a phobia.
You can. I think for me, and I guess for most people who would have a phobia, you try to understand, but where did it come from, and why all of a sudden do I have this phobia? Because if I go back in time and I remember when I was young, probably, and I don't know why my unconscious keeps on saying around 7 or 8 years old, I went to a snake park with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And I was fine. I can still remember looking at the snakes in the glass, and then they had this round dome with snakes in there. But anything after that is a blank.
Oh wow.
And we don't think anything happened there because my mom and them tried to find out and nothing happened there. My twin sister was with me and she would have remembered if something happened. And so anything related to snakes after that, it's a blank. And I've always had the phobia. And I can remember my cousin found out, and I'll never ever forget this. And he cut out a picture from a book, and kids being kids, then chased me around the whole block with this picture and me running and screaming my head off, and my dad came out to find out what the hell is going on. And my cousin, so I can't remember whether he got a hiding or not, but I think he got a massive telling off, because it came to a point where it just became too much for me. And my niece and nephew knows it as well, and at times now they'll try and scare me very quickly and my mom will shout at them. But it's a point where I can handle it, but then if it comes on me all of a sudden, I can't. So for example, a friend quite recently sent a picture on WhatsApp, and I opened up the picture and I had to close it immediately. And I sent her a message and I said, "That picture you just sent me, it was a snake, wasn't it?" And she said yes. And I said, "Could you please just go delete it for me?" So on WhatsApp you can go delete all. And then she went to delete it, and then she said, "Oh, just a reminder when I'm there next time not to show me the picture of the snake where her daughter has it, around the neck and stuff." And they go, I'm like, "Please, no, thank you." But no, I'm slowly overcoming it, because I went to an NLP conference, and they deal with people with spiders and snakes. That seems to be the two phobias that they seem to want to deal with. And they had snakes there, and I wasn't going to be a guinea pig for that. But I could stand a distance and I could watch it, whereas I wouldn't have been able to have done that before.
That's amazing. And I think that's the really important thing to remember about phobias. You can overcome them. Different people, it takes different lengths of times, and there's a lot of different techniques out there. One of the ones that is very effective, I found, is one of the tapping techniques called thought field therapy. And if you look at our Stress Busters video from a couple of weeks ago, you'll see one of the tapping techniques there, which is often quite good for helping people with phobias. But finding somebody that you can work with is absolutely key. But also just accepting that you have a conscious mind, you have an unconscious mind. The unconscious mind is there essentially to protect you. So the phobia response is the unconscious mind trying to protect you. So part of what NLP practitioners all do, and different sorts of practitioners, whether it's CBT, NLP, thought field therapy, psychotherapy, whatever works for you, one of the first things to do is actually work with the person to convince them that they're safe, and then help them move on from that. I've worked with a lot of people that have a fear of flying, and I've worked with them where now they can get on a plane without any jitters at all. So with your snake phobia,
Coming!
with the people with fear of flying, it was a case of convincing them that they were safe, that actually their brain was almost playing tricks on them to try and keep them safe. So one of the first things to do is working with the person to actually help them understand they are completely safe, and actually then working with the phobia. And a lot of the techniques, you actually don't always get to the point where you find out what the root cause is, and that's not always important, but it will help you clear the phobia slowly but surely. So with your snake phobia, it's fantastic that you continue to work on it, and you will get to a point where at some point you will be completely comfortable with snakes.
I'm also okay that I'm not. I think it came to the realization where I made peace with myself and
Yeah.
said it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just giving you an overview of the difference between fears and phobias. But of course, one of the biggest phobias is speaking in public. And later on in the month, we're going to be talking to somebody that's going to deal specifically with the fear of public speaking. And we have another speaker as well later on in the month that's going to look at a different angle about that, about how we communicate with confidence and clarity. So there's going to be an awful lot this month dealing with stress of phobias, and we look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Okay, so thank you for tuning in today, and we'll speak again next week.
Bye.